Ever since the storm happened, I pray that nothing happens again as far as flooding.
The trauma following the January 22nd storm that flooded neighborhoods and left families without a safe home. Tonight, Mike co-anchor Wally Aliou explains one of the city's efforts to make sure the devastation that we saw 3 months ago doesn't happen again.
We're standing behind the homes on South 42nd Street in Mountain View, and almost 3 months since the January 22nd storm, we're still seeing people cleaning up their homes, trying to rebuild as best as they can. And if you look at the creek here, it's a night and day difference from when the flood started coming that day. These residents say they had been complaining for years about cleaning it up, and for the most part now it's clean. But that day is still etched in the mind of all of these residents as well as the city leaders.
Because this one was a scary scene.
Familiar faces with the plea. Something has to be done.
It's time for you guys to pass this so we can get this storage drains fixed up, cleaned out, so it won't happen to us again.
Flood victim Jerry Hernandez referring to a proposal to put stormwater infrastructure on the November ballot. The money for the fund would come from a special parcel tax for homeowners. But there are still some details that are not set, including the rate of that tax. At public comment, the majority of speakers supported the idea.
If passing this bill means that we will guarantee that this doesn't happen again, then it's something that we're interested in.
The City Council's Rules Committee decided today that the measure still needs some work on the legal language, and members directed the City Attorney's Office to work with Council Districts 1 and 9, as well as the budget analyst. It will need to be approved by the Rules Committee again before going to the full City Council for a vote. If it passes, it will be up to San Diego voters in the November elections. The fund would also go towards disaster response. Council President Chanilo Rivera says he didn't just create this proposal to prevent devastating floods like the one we saw on January 22nd.
It's about transforming neglected communities that have been the subject to environmental racism and turning areas of neglect that are gray and really can be eyesores and transforming them into green, vibrant, healthy communities that are also safer.
Coming up at 6, my conversation with local environmental advocates who say an update to the city's storm infrastructure is long overdue. In Mountain View, Wale Aliou, ABC 10 News.
You can only raise your prices so much. I mean, it's already expensive to live in Encinitas.
Water bills are about to go up in Encinitas, and last night the City Council approved a series of rate hikes for the next 3 years. ABC 10 News reporter Jeff Lasky looks at the problems that this will cause for small businesses and customers.
At Jolly Clean Giant Laundry in Encinitas Thursday afternoon, several people are using its 67 washers, and that means the business is using lots of water.
It can run anywhere from $2,300 to $3,200 a month. It just depends on how busy we are.
That's manager Jerry Johnson talking about their water bill, a bill that's about to go up.
Now we've got, close to a 25% increase. Can I increase my prices 25% to cover that? And the answer to that is no.
Johnson is referring to the rate hike approved by the Encinitas City Council Wednesday night. It's about 9% starting in July, then up to another 12% in the following year and another hike in 2026. City leaders called the decision, quote, painful but necessary. The cheapest source of local water for Encinitas is the Lake Hodges Reservoir. But as ABC 10 News has been reporting over the last 2 years, the dam there is in such bad shape, they've had to keep the water levels far lower than capacity. So despite back-to-back good rain years, Lake Hodges has been releasing some water into the ocean rather than saving it. Since Encinitas is getting less water from Hodges, it has to replace it from more expensive sources, like the Metropolitan Water District that brings water from Northern to Southern California. Metropolitan is also raising rates, passing that on to Encinitas' San Dieguito Water District. Johnson understands those reasons, of course, but that does nothing to ease the strain on customers or on his business's bottom line.
80% of our clientele is lower income. So, when we have to increase prices, I promise you I hear about it. What can you do? What can you say? It's California. It's the membership price to be here, I guess.
In Encinitas, Jeff Lasky, ABC 10 News.
We reached out to both the mayor of Encinitas and the head of the San Dieguito Water Authority. Neither were available for an interview today. And a measure to make certain crimes a felony again appears headed to the November ballot. Today, organizers announced they've collected nearly twice the signatures needed to qualify. It would amend Prop 47, which reduced the theft to less than $950 to a misdemeanor. Under the proposed measure, repeat offenders would face a felony instead. The owner of K&B Bistro in Del Cerro says the current law is not working.
Right now, people know that if they steal just a little bit, that they can get away with it. There's going to be a slap on the wrist, if anything. If we do catch them, that they'll be released.
The proposed measure has bipartisan support. Nearly $200 million, that's how much the state is going to dedicate to cleaning up homeless encampments. Some of those funds will be coming to San Diego, but maybe not where you would expect. ABC 10 News reporter Natalie Chuck breaks it all down.
Right now, we're driving through downtown San Diego. It's been about 9 months since the city's unsafe camping ordinance went into effect, and you can see there are a lot less tents down here than there used to be, but there are still some here and there. Now, on Thursday, Governor Gavin Newsom announced the state is going to dedicate millions of more dollars towards fixing this issue.
It's not what you see, it's what you don't see. It's cleaning up these encampments.
The governor's office revealed a list of cities, each getting a chunk of more than $190 million the state is investing into getting people out of tents and into homes. But San Diego is not on that list. A spokesperson for the governor's office says San Diego did not get any funding because they did not apply for any this round. A spokesperson for the city of San Diego says the city did not apply for this round because it already has 3 awards from this grant program and it is working to use that money. The announcement comes a little more than a week after a state audit reported that San Diego needs to improve how it spends and keeps track of money used to address homelessness. Increasing oversight of these funds spent by local agencies is something the governor appears to be taking seriously, issuing an entire fact sheet about accountability. It outlines a new accountability unit and says when taxpayer dollars are not being spent accordingly, the state will pursue consequences.
Nothing in that audit, though, fundamentally to your question, surprised me. This has been a point, it's been a mantra. You've been hearing me say this for the last few years. We've got to drive this accountability agenda.
In a statement, Mayor Todd Gloria reacted to Thursday's announcement, saying in part, "The state has a growing homelessness crisis, so I'm glad to see the governor making greater efforts to track spending to make sure it's yielding results. I share his concerns about haphazard and unfocused spending by various local governments on duplicative homeless programs that don't expand bed capacity." Natalie Chuck, ABC 10 News.
New video was released showing the final hours of a woman's life before she died inside Las Colinas jail in Santee. The parents of 24-year-old Alisa Cerna are suing. They say their daughter was pregnant and exhibiting symptoms of drug and alcohol withdrawal. A nurse and a doctor were criminally charged. The nurse was acquitted, the doctor's case dismissed, but they remain defendants in a civil case. Today, senior investigative reporter Jim Avila spoke to Cerna's family about the lawsuit. You can see that story coming up new at 6 o'clock. 12 jurors have been picked for Donald Trump's hush money trial. The jury includes a sales professional, a software engineer, an English teacher, and multiple lawyers. Selection will resume tomorrow to pick the alternatives. And as ABC's Reena Roy shows us, opening statements could begin Monday.
A full jury of 12 seated now in the historic criminal trial of former President Donald Trump. 6 alternates will also be needed before opening statements. Earlier Thursday, 2 jurors who had been seated earlier this week were excused.
Juror number 2 saying after sleeping on it overnight, she had concerns about serving on the case. After questioning, she was sent home. Juror number 4 also dismissed after prosecutors determined he had been arrested for ripping down right-leaning political posters back in the 90s. The judge asking jurors that have been seated to show up on Monday for possible opening statements. The prospective jurors in court going through a 7-page questionnaire that asks things like whether they've been to a political rally for or against Trump and whether they have strong views about him that would prevent them from being fair and impartial jurors. About half the pool immediately quickly dismissed, saying they were unable to be unbiased. One prospective juror who was excused speaking out.
You're not here to say, oh, I hate this guy, or oh, I like this guy. Your job is to say, all right, I understand what the law is. This is the evidence of his behavior. Is he or is he not guilty of committing these acts?
Trump is facing felony charges related to a 2016 hush money payment to adult film actress Stormy Daniels in order to allegedly cover up an affair with her. He denied that affair and pleaded not guilty to a 34-count indictment, charging him with falsifying business records.
But all of these are stories from legal experts saying how this is not a case.
Prosecutors are also asking the judge to hold Trump in contempt, bringing up what they say are more gag order violations. A hearing on that is scheduled for next week. Reena Roy, ABC News, New York.
A business owner impacted by the January floods is hoping to help fellow victims.
It makes me feel like I'm printing with a purpose.
Coming up, how these T-shirts will benefit San Diegans in need, and a look at the seawall construction happening in Del Mar to stabilize the bluffs, the progress being made.
And the weekend is almost here. I'll take a look at whether or not the sunny skies and the warm temperatures are here to stay. ABC 10 News is back in 90 seconds.
A bill to ban plastic bags at grocery store checkouts is moving forward. SB 1053 was authored by Senator Catherine Blakespear of Encinitas. The bill is intended to close a loophole on the original ban passed in 2014, allowing grocery stores to sell customers thicker plastic bags that could theoretically be recycled. But Blakespear says most of those end up in landfills. In addition to tightening standards for reusable bags, the bill would also require stores to provide 100% recycled paper bags. SB 1053 goes next to the Senate Appropriations Committee for consideration. And now to the work that's underway to stabilize the Del Mar Bluffs. Ultimately, the plan is to relocate the train tracks farther inland, but until then, Sandag needs to make the area safer and keep the trains running smoothly and beaches free from collapsing sand and rocks. Earlier, ABC 10 News anchor Lindsay Pena spoke to the project manager on the work that's being done.
Sandag and NCTD have been doing stabilization on the projects on the bluffs for the last 20 years. We've done 3 emergency repairs and 4 planned projects. So this is the 5th planned project in that series, and by far the largest of all the stabilization projects to date. So we have a project budget of about $88 million. We're doing a vast amount of improvements to the bluff tops, to the drainage, and to seawalls at the bottom. The goal of this project is to maintain the stability of the track bed until the long-term goal of relocating the tracks is accomplished. So this project is focused on 3 main components, so we refer to it as a 3-legged stool approach. So they all work together to solidify the track bed and ensure it can combat erosion over the next 15 to 30 years. So we have bluff top improvements, so large support columns or soldier piles that are installed right next to the track bed. We have drainage improvements, so improvements to convey water, stormwater and groundwater safely to the beach so it doesn't go over the tracks and erode the bluff on the west side. And then we have seawalls or bluff toe protection that protect the base of the bluff from erosion. So that slows the erosion process a little bit, and it also protects those improvements that we've made up at the track level as well. Lateral access along the beach will be maintained throughout construction. We are actively constructing on the beach, and we do encourage folks to take extra precautions and ensure they're not in construction zones and take precautions around work vehicles. But while we're working, we're staying as close to the bluff as possible so they can maintain lateral access. Any impacts to access will be temporary.
Sandag says phase 5 of the project here in Del Mar is expected to be completed by 2027.
This 10 News Pinpoint Weather Report is sponsored by Anderson Plumbing, Heating and Air. Nobody wows clients like we do.
If you're near the beaches in Del Mar today or anywhere along our coastline, it was It was really a nice day.
It's been beautiful.
Yeah, it's been really nice.
Thank you. It really doesn't get much better than this, and I feel like it's been a long time since we've been able to say that so close to the weekend. And so right now, it's just a time to soak up what we have. We have plenty of sunshine to go around. You can see that with a live look at downtown, and our temperatures are still feeling great along the coastline. San Diego's at 64 degrees, right along with Imperial Beach. Some spots are cooler by a few degrees. Del Mar right now at 60 degrees, La Jolla at 60. Many of those inland neighborhoods right now we're hovering right near 70 degrees. Now overnight is going to feel a lot like what we saw last night. The coastline is heading down towards those mid-50s. We're going to pick up a little bit of cloud coverage overnight along with a bit of fog. Our inland neighborhoods are eventually going to see some lower 50s, and they're going to get a little bit gray as well. But the big difference is that tomorrow morning is going to be very, very foggy depending on where you are. So we're going to notice that fog starting to collect as early as 10 tonight. It's going to mostly start inland, but then it's going to be at its heaviest right around 6 a.m. So if you have an early commute, it's a good idea to set aside more time for it, because that's going to be covering pretty much the entire coastline, all of our inland neighborhoods, all of our major highways, and then we're going to notice a lot of that fog sticking around until 9 a.m. So we get a gray start to the day, but the skies will eventually clear out. That's when San Diego will see mostly sunny skies tomorrow, high of 67 degrees, inland neighborhoods reaching up to 71, seeing lots of sun despite that foggy morning. Into the mountains, a high of 65 degrees, deserts reaching up to 92. And when you check out the 7-day forecast, some of the nicest days of the week are Saturday and Sunday. Saturday in particular is going to be great. Just don't let that morning cloud coverage fool you. Saturday, we're going to have a pretty cloudy start to the day, but by noon, the sun's going to come out. We're going to see a high of 68. Then Sunday, sunny and 70 degrees. Doesn't get much better than that for the coastline. Then come Monday, our temperatures cool down a little bit more, and we get just a little bit more overcast. Our inland neighborhoods, of course, are seeing the same trend. Their temperatures are just jumping up a little bit higher for the weekend. Saturday is going to be pretty moderate, seeing low to mid 70s for most of those inland neighborhoods. Sunday, the highs are going to be near 80 before they cool down all the way to the 60s for the work week. Now the mountains are going to see that same warm up. They're also going to say goodbye to the wind. Those wind gusts tomorrow could be as fast as 45 miles per hour, weakening to about 20 miles per hour by Saturday till they eventually go away on Sunday. Sunday high of 75 degrees. And hopefully if you're there, you can enjoy a little of that warmth, because they're going to fall all the way down into the 50s. The deserts in particular are going to be real hot, reaching up to 97. So the heat is almost here. I can't wait to get outside, finally.
Yeah, that'll be nice. Thank you, Moses. And now 10 News Time Saver Traffic with Officer Mark Latulip. Good to see you, Mark.
Good to see you, Kimberly, and happy Thursday to everyone out there watching at this evening telecast. Everything on your freeways is doing what it usually does on a Thursday. Kind of heavy out there. Not many crashes out there to deal with, but lots of brake lights and friends on your freeways. 5 end to 805 southbound from the Golden Triangle. Pretty heavy down to the 54. 163 southbound, you're going to be on the brakes from Claremont Mesa Boulevard down to the downtown area. Your 15 southbound is looking like it's pretty slow with 163 to Arrow, and then you're going to be south of the 8. You're going to pick up more brake lights as you make your way down towards Interstate 5. 54 eastbound tonight from Interstate 5 eastbound to Sweetwater. We had a 6-vehicle crash that was blocking there. We have cleared those lanes, but it did leave a mark on that 54 from the 5. You're clear after that, though. 8 eastbound, slowing at the 5, and then from the 163 to the College area, and the 52 eastbound from 805 down to Mast, and westbound at the summit of the grade, we do have some trash in the lanes, so heads up for a traffic break there. I'm CHP Officer Mark Latulip with your 10 News Time Saver Traffic.
A lot going on. Thank you, Mark. More parking meters are coming to the East Village. Why? Some people who live in the area say they only think the meters will make the parking situation in their neighborhood worse.
Skycam Views, sponsored by Carlsbad Solar.
More parking meters are coming to the East Village. The city says they'll help manage parking in the area. But as ABC 10 News reporter Ryan Hill explains, not everybody agrees.
New meters similar to these ones have been getting installed since last week. The new paid meters will have a 2-hour limit, cost $1.25 an hour, and be in effect from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. Here's a look at where you can expect the new meters along with the pre-existing paid parking spots. The new meters will be from 17th Street up to Park Boulevard in between Island and K Streets. The city's saying this will help manage the parking supply and boost the turnover of spots. But some folks who live in the area are skeptical if that'll happen.
I think it's interesting what they're trying to do. I don't think it's going to work. I appreciate the effort to try to help improve the parking situation, but I just feel like it's ultimately going to make things even more difficult.
Coming up at 11, we'll hear from a business about their experience dealing with those pre-existing parking meters and also what the city says the money from the new ones will go towards. Reporting here in East Village, Ryan Hill, ABC 10 News.
In the next half hour of 10 News at 5, the NBA cracking down on illegal sports betting, the discovery that led to the league banning a player for life, and the new sanctions the U.S. is imposing on Iran following its drone and missile attack on Israel. Coming up, why the Justice Department has reportedly agreed to pay $100 million to victims of Larry Nasser, the disgraced former USA gymnastics team doctor.
ABC 10 News at 5 starts now.
Today, the U.S. slapped new sanctions on 16 people and 2 entities associated with Iran's drone program. It comes as the Biden administration looks to punish Iran for last weekend's attack on Israel. Iran launched more than 300 missiles and drones toward Israel in a retaliatory attack for an Israeli airstrike on a diplomatic compound in Damascus. Most of the incoming fire was intercepted. The sanctions target executives of an engine manufacturer, companies that service the engines, and people associated with providing the drones to Iranian forces throughout the Middle East. The new sanctions were coordinated with European allies. The House Speaker's plan to deliver foreign aid has the president's support, but Republican opposition could doom the bill and cost the Speaker's job. Scripps News reporter Maritza Giorgio has more.
House Speaker Mike Johnson is putting his position on the line to push a foreign aid package to a vote, despite threats from members of his own Republican Party to oust him if he does.
We are going to show that. We're going to keep the train on the tracks and not get derailed and get involved in all of this at such a dangerous time on the world stage.
Johnson's plan would require 3 individual votes on $60 billion for Ukraine, $26 billion for Israel that includes humanitarian aid for civilians in conflict zones, and $8 billion for the Indo-Pacific. President Biden says he supports the proposals, but there is Republican opposition.
It's essentially the Senate bill that we already said we're against.
Johnson is relying on Democratic support given the 1-vote margin he has in the House. Representatives Marjorie Taylor Greene and Thomas Massie are threatening to call a vote to oust Johnson if he brings foreign aid to the floor.
Republicans are in disarray. They cannot get the job done themselves. As to Speaker Johnson, his future is really dependent upon the Democrats also.
By definition, we won't get everything we want, but we got a great product here at the end, much better than the alternative that came in the Senate supplemental. And now everybody gets to vote their conscience, up or down.
Maritza Giorgio, Scripps News.
The Justice Department could soon pay about $100 million to 100 victims of Larry Nasser. He is the former U.S. women's gymnastics doctor accused of sexual abuse. Settlement talks started when the Justice Department Inspector General issued a report sharply criticizing the FBI. It found the FBI did not fully investigate sexual assault allegations while Nasser was the team doctor. A bombshell investigation brought the abuse, plus its long list of athletes and patients, into the spotlight in 2016. The Inspector General's report found the FBI was notified of Nasser's behavior in 2015.
Victims in this case that potentially would not have been victimized if this case had been investigated in a timely manner.
And in the 14 months it took the FBI to act, Nasser is alleged to have abused at least 40 more girls and women. Both the Justice Department, the FBI, and attorneys for the victims declined to comment. Nasser will spend the rest of his life in prison. 911 call outages experienced in several states were caused by a light pole installation done by a third party. Multiple law enforcement agencies reported their emergency lines for both cell and landlines were impacted. It affected the entire state of South Dakota, a county in Nebraska, and 2 departments in Nevada. During the outage, some people in Nevada were told text to 911 was still functioning. optional, and that those who call 911 will get a call right back. In South Dakota, law enforcement had to pivot, saying their emergency line received more than 100 calls during the outage.
We pivoted 911 calls to remaining phone lines. Metro Communications staff's expertise and ability to shift calls to our admin line and the availability of 911 texting provided the same dispatch services our first responders receive on any other day.
It took 2.5 hours to restore service. The Federal Communications Commission is investigating. The NBA has handed down its first ever lifetime ban to a league player. The league says Toronto Raptors forward and center John Day Porter wagered on games illegally and performed in games to affect the outcome of at least one wager. As Scripps reporter Dan Grossman explains, legalized sports betting has only been widely available for about 6 years.
This has always been the main risk and criticism of legalized sports betting among skeptics. How do you maintain the integrity of the game when the stakes and money on these outcomes only increases? Porter is only the latest, as each of the 4 major sports has seen a betting scandal occur in just the last year. Over the course of the last 3 seasons, John Day Porter has made $2.3 million, according to SpotTrack. He's a millionaire who is now banned from the NBA for life for placing 13 bets that netted him $21,965,000 in profit, according to the league. Pennies, comparatively.
I think that absolutely captures the seductive nature of gambling. It's a human nature thing.
Dr. Timothy Fong is the co-director of the UCLA Gambling Studies program and says athletes have been betting on sports for decades. According to the NBA, John Day Porter not only placed bets, but acted as a source for bettors and then changed his performance in games to ensure those bets won. In one instance, the league says Porter claimed he was sick and played only 3 minutes the same day his source placed an $80,000 bet on his performance. The NBA says it was brought to its attention by licensed sports betting operators and an organization that monitors legal betting markets.
All sorts of stories, I think, are going to come out in the next 5 or 10 years, but every time we do see a, quote, scandal or a new, radical event, we have to remember we're talking about a world in just the last 5 years that has completely changed.
This is only the latest instance of illegal sports betting, as all 4 major sports have seen a scandal in the last year. Last season, the NFL suspended 10 players for the activity, and the NHL handed down 1. With the MLB's Shohei Ohtani and now Porter, Fong says leagues are in the hot seat to find out how to maintain the integrity of their sport.
If we're going to combine sports, gambling, media, and our passion for sports, we need to have a more thoughtful discourse of how do we protect players' rights, protect fans and integrity, and to make sure that the leagues are operating in a way that makes sense for everyone, that everyone feels good about.
According to the NBA, the $80,000 bet on Porter's performance was spotted, flagged, and the betting platform where it was placed never doled out the $1.1 million it would have paid. Dan Grossman, Scripps News, Denver.
Coming up, the Trader Joe's item being linked to a salmonella outbreak, plus the new program from the San Diego Library to erase library fines and fees for youth.
This ABC 10 News Staying Healthy report is sponsored by Palomar Health, reimagining healthcare.
A salmonella outbreak is prompting Trader Joe's to recall fresh organic basil. Infinite Herbs brand organic basil was sold in 29 states, including California. According to the CDC, at least 12 related illnesses were reported, with 1 person being hospitalized. Symptoms of salmonella include severe diarrhea, vomiting, and fever, and usually start 6 hours to 6 days after infection. This brand of basil is no longer available at Trader Joe's, and customers are advised to return it to the place of purchase for a full refund. Dangerous counterfeit versions of Botox are being linked to an outbreak that sickened 19 people in 9 states. The FBI says the products were purchased from unlicensed sources. Reporter Mandy Gaither talks to a doctor about how to bypass counterfeit Botox.
It's one of the most common non-surgical cosmetic procedures with millions of injections every year, but officials are sounding the alarm on counterfeit versions of Botox.
The medical injectable business is very lucrative, so there's a lot of people that want to do this on the side or in their home.
The FDA says at least 19 women between the ages of 25 and 59 have reported harmful reactions in 9 states, all after receiving Botox injections from unlicensed or untrained people or in places that were not healthcare settings. Before you schedule an injection, it's important to do your research, says Dr. Craig Lehrman with Ohio State's Wexner Medical Center.
Do your research on where you're going, who's doing it, and you want to know their experience in giving these products.
Lehrman says to ask questions, get referrals from people you know who have been happy with their results. Look for a center that has providers who are board certified in some area of aesthetic or cosmetic surgery, and make sure their practice is licensed.
You can also search the provider doing the injections by searching their name and going to something like Health Grades or the state's medical board to look for infractions or other issues.
When injected properly, Lehrman says patients shouldn't have problems with this procedure.
If you do your research, I would still stand by. It's a very safe procedure with very predictable outcomes.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
The doctor says there are some common side effects after Botox injections, such as redness, injection site pain, or a mild headache. But if you have weakness, difficulty breathing, or facial paralysis, he says those are red flags to see a doctor right away. And a business owner impacted by the January floods is hoping to help fellow victims.
Makes me feel like I'm printing with a purpose.
Coming up, how these T-shirts will benefit San Diegans in need.
Also benefiting San Diegans in one way or another is several sunny days in a row. I'm tracking how those changes might shape your weekend.
A new program to erase library fines for young people who have had their accounts suspended is underway. The Fresh Start program launched this week at the San Diego Public Library. It will erase any past debts owed by library card holders under the age of 18 and lift suspensions on those accounts. Library Foundation SD has pledged more than $175,000 to replace the missing items and clear the accounts. Fresh Start is a one-time waiver. Cardholders who fail to return items and accrue new fees after their accounts are cleared will not be allowed to apply again. A special day for a January flood victim on a mission to help other flood survivors, one T-shirt at a time. As ABC 10 News reporter Michael Chen tells us, today is the